The successful warrior is the average man with laser-like focus. That was a quote I heard from Bruce Lee, and I thought it made complete sense. Because when you really break it down, the people who have successfully excelled to the top of their crafts were no different from us. They were just regular people who decided to develop an insane focus on their goals.
It's all about focus. I don't care who you are, where you're from, doesn't matter. It's having a focus.
And because of that, excel to heights far beyond what anyone deemed possible for them.
Everything you want in life, you can have.
And look,
but not 1 second before you stop making excuses for not having what you want.
Maybe you aren't trying to become the most successful person ever, but if you actually want to become productive and excel at whatever you're pursuing, brother, it is essential you develop the skill of focus. Because with how rare focus is nowadays, if you can develop yours, you will be miles ahead of the competition. See, I used to be someone who really lacked focus. I was that guy who would constantly tell his friends and family about these big ambitious goals I was going to achieve. But when it came to me actually putting in the work to achieve them, I could not get my brain to concentrate whatsoever. Like, have you ever sat down to focus, but your brain decides it wants to literally do anything but the actual task you set for yourself? Yeah. Well, I would constantly have that feeling, and I'm not gonna lie, I might have battled off the distracting thoughts for a while, but eventually I would always give in to them impulses. So after years of procrastination and wasted time, I just decided I had to make a change, because I was sick of feeling anxious at the end of every day, due to me being unable to confront the work. And as one of my favorite podcasters, Chris Williamson, says, the magic you are looking for is in the work you're avoiding. And that quote holds so much weight, because we all know that feeling of excitement and confidence you get in yourself after doing a hard task. And thankfully over this last year, I've been able to get that feeling consistently each day because of the information from Andrew Huberman, the book Deep Work, and other bits of information that have completely transformed my focus. I might just do the same for you. See, to have a laser-like focus, we need to starve our distractions, because energy goes where focus flows. And if we are placing all of our focus on distractions, and we all know what our own personal distractions are, then of course it makes perfect sense that whenever we try to sit down and concentrate on important tasks, we can't do it. And Cal Newport says, if you are trying to do focused work and you even answer a 1 to 2 minute phone call during that period, it will take you up to 20 minutes to regain your focus. So if that happens with a 1 to 2 minute phone call, imagine what happens to our focus levels when we decide to scroll during a period of focused work. So now, every time you are about to get distracted, think of this line: by starving our distractions, we feed our focus. And one of the best tools I've honestly implemented from Cal Newport's book Deep Work is in the title. Set yourself deep work blocks. These are periods where you cut out all distractions and do nothing but focus on the task at hand. And Andrew Huberman says the best length for these sessions is around 90 minutes, because this is around the maximum length of time our brains are able to stay highly focused on a task for. And he basically says this is because our brains work in 90-minute ultradian cycles, which is where our brain state changes from being very highly alert to less alert every 90 minutes. So personally, I do 2 to 3 of these 90-minute deep work blocks a day, and they've genuinely increased my productivity levels so much, because when you are literally doing nothing but focusing on a single task for 90 minutes, it's actually kind of amazing to see just how hard your brain is able to work when it's not distracted. And the more you do focused work, the better your focus becomes, because similarly to discipline, focus is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. And when beginning this process, of course it's going to be difficult, and you're going to find your mind is easily distracted. I am no different, this still happens to me, but the more we can train our minds to bring our attention back to the work, the stronger our focus muscle becomes. And that's essentially why meditation has been one of the best things I've implemented to strengthen my focus. Yes, this is something you probably are sick of hearing about, but trust me, if you do it, your focus is basically guaranteed to improve. Because in terms of the facts, meditation strengthens the prefrontal cortex, which essentially improves your impulse control, allowing you to become far more focused and it supposedly boosts the grey matter in your hippocampus, which is responsible for learning and memory. But look, they're just facts, because I'm not gonna pretend like I'm that guy who knows what the hippocampus even is, but honestly, just from first-hand experience, it's allowed me to become far more focused when doing my work and just in daily life in general, because once you start doing it consistently, you start to become more aware of your thoughts, and you begin to notice whenever your mind is getting distracted, which is so important, because you begin to realize that you are not your thoughts and you can let go of the distracting thoughts that are holding you back. And if you want to listen to something when meditating, I leave a link to the 10-minute video I regularly use in the description. And by the way, I'm not affiliated to whoever made this video whatsoever. Anyway, I read a post a while back that talked about how you should do your most important tasks within the first 8 hours of waking up. And it basically said this was because your willpower, energy levels, discipline, and focus are all at their peak during these hours. So it makes being able to focus and complete your tasks a lot easier. And this was only something I learned recently, but I've unknowingly been doing this for nearly a year now. Because personally, I'm a morning person and I love getting my most important tasks done early in the day, because I hate that feeling of having tasks hanging over me. And a fact from the post that you might find interesting was that it mentioned how our peak focus levels occurred 2 hours after waking up. And again, I've unknowingly been starting into my deep work 2 hours after waking up, because the first 2 hours of my day are spent going to the gym to work out. And also, a sort of focus / productivity hack I've implemented that has allowed me to really focus over these last few months is delaying my carb consumption until the evening, as well as intermittent fasting. And that's literally because these things allow you to stay mentally sharp, because I find that when I eat a heavy meal or any carbs early in the day, I just feel like I need a nap or something, and I cannot concentrate at all. And basically, that's because when you are digesting refined carbs, your glucose levels spike, which is terrible for your concentration levels. And after eating a heavy meal, it's harder to focus because your whole energy is being spent digesting your food. And a word of warning, I'm not telling you to starve yourself or cut out carbs altogether, because I have a window from around 3 to 9 p.m. where I eat a ton of food, and I do eat some protein right after the gym in the morning, because you know, we still gotta get them gains in. And lastly, if you can find something you are passionate about to work on, it makes being able to focus so much easier, because generally you will just feel less resistance to do your focused work. Like I heard Alex Hormozy say something like, you should find something that feels like play to you but work for others, because if you can find something like that, you will run rings around the competition, because while they're working, you're playing. And I always tell people, a good way I found this for myself was I asked myself this question: what would I do if I was guaranteed to succeed and nobody would judge me for doing it? Because really those are the two factors that hold most people back from doing what they really want in life, because they're scared they'll fail and they're scared people will laugh at them for doing it. That's how I felt, at least, when I went to start this YouTube thing over 4 years ago. And you have to realize, the people who can focus intensely are the people who love the painful process of focus. They know that by constantly doing focused work, they are ultimately strengthening their focus muscle. And yes, when you do your first few periods of focused work, it does suck, but you should expect it to suck. And you have to understand, anyone who has ever developed a high degree of focus has had to go through this period. So just treat training your focus muscle like you would any physical muscle, because you have to place a muscle under tension in order for it to grow. And realize, by consistently doing this, focus will just become second nature to you. So when you're finding it hard to focus, love the struggle of it. Keep reminding yourself why you are doing it and where training your focus is leading you. Because you've heard the famous quote before, that the pain you feel today is the strength you feel tomorrow. And listen, this is something I'm still in a constant state of trying to improve, because I don't think there is a cap to how much you can improve your focus. And as I always say, I'm not perfect. There are still a lot of times where I get distracted and end up wasting time, and of course, my focus still has so much room to grow, but I'm thankful for that, because it just means every day I have a chance to grow and improve. Anyway, enough of my rambling. Make sure to subscribe, because I know a lot of you are regularly watching the videos and you haven't subscribed yet. And also leave a comment down below of the best thing you have learned over the last 2 weeks, because I seriously enjoyed reading the comments on my last video and I really appreciate you all for leaving them. And again, I'll pin the comment of my favorite one. As always, through hard work we grow. Peace.